Wooden pumpkin home decor is very in this season. That's something people say, right? Well, actually I got this wooden pumpkin last November 1st at half price, and it has 2 layers of wood, so I thought it might be fun to try to customize it by carving some sort of jack-o'-lantern design in the top layer. So I snapped a quick pic with my iPad and sketched out a design in the Procreate app. Back in the day I would have just printed the picture out and drawn over that. Technology really is something. You can only draw a jack-o'-lantern so many different ways before you have to try to get weird with it. So that's kind of what I did, I think. Once I had a jack-o'-lantern design I liked, I transferred it onto the real deal with a pencil. Hopefully that will erase easily and won't need to be painted over. As far as carving, I could have went the chisel route and whittled at this thing forever, or bought a router, or spent thousands of dollars on a CNC machine. But instead, I got this relatively inexpensive multi-purpose cutting kit, which basically turns my Dremel tool into a miniature router. I thought about carving into the wood more like a sculpture, so I got these bits as well, but I felt it was a bit above my skill level, and with my time restraints, maybe next time. One thing I have to be weary of is these little holes in the wood that contain some sort of nail or staple that were used to tack the 2 layers of wood together during manufacturing. I'm not sure how the drill bit will interact with those, so eye protection is extra important, as well as some sort of respirator for the sawdust and potential metal bits that are going to be flying around in the air. I clamped the pumpkin to my porch railing instead of a workbench because I'd rather make a sawdust mess outside, I guess. I just kind of guessed at what depth to set the drill bit, but I think shallow looks a lot better, maybe 1/4 of an inch. Check out this janky camera setup I stuck to the Dremel tool. Nice. Turns out that having a camera obstruct your view when using a power tool isn't a great idea. So I only recorded a short clip of the actual carving. And I wish I had earplugs or something because the carving was obnoxiously loud. See, you get the idea. I just did that for the rest of the jack-o'-lantern design. The drill bit wasn't secured tightly enough and was working its way out of the Dremel, causing me to cut a lot deeper than I wanted. Luckily, I noticed it pretty quickly and then clamped it down, probably too tight, and then finished up. I'll fill that mistake with hot glue a little bit later. But as you can see, I couldn't carve out the fine points I had drawn, so I am using just a box cutter to get all those pointed corners cut out. There's probably a safer way to do this, but the box cutter works fine for me. I can also use it to slice off any of the frilly, fuzzy, splintery stuff left behind from using the Dremel tool way too fast and forcefully instead of just letting the bit do the cutting at its own pace. The box cutter also allows me to straighten out some of the waviness caused by my inexperience with this mini router extension kit thing. A less intricate design would obviously have taken less time to clean up and is probably a better design to use for a beginner. But eventually I got the corners of the mouth, all those jagged teeth and whatnot, all nice and pointy. As far as the staples are concerned, they didn't cause a problem with the drill bit, and the ones I didn't avoid cutting around apparently got carved down just like the wood. Dust masks, folks. Use them. It's not that big of a deal to just pull those remaining staples out with some pliers. I've still got those over-drilled parts of the carving to fix, so I'll fill those with hot glue. Wood filler would have been a good choice, but I don't have any, and even though I probably could have made some sort of equivalent with sawdust and wood glue, hot glue is much faster and easier. I decided to hot glue the mouth a bit too, to clean up some of the more splintery sections. I do my best to erase the remaining graphite from my drawn design, but I was pretty heavy-handed when drawing it out, and if I used just a bit lighter touch, it probably wouldn't have been a problem to erase. But with that done, I am using some wide masking tape to cover the entire front of the pumpkin because it is now time to paint the carved part. With a sharp knife, I cut along the outline of the carved sections. This way I can paint just the carved part and won't have to bother painting the entire already orange pumpkin. The desired outcome is for the pumpkin to look like it has a lit candle in it. A craftier person could probably pour resin with glow-in-the-dark pigment or any number of creative things. It would also make the carved part of the pumpkin smooth as opposed to, well, not smooth. But I'm just going to use spray paint. Again, fast and easy. I lay down a base layer of orange, which will only be faintly visible around the edges, and then I alternate between white and yellow to get the desired glow effect. Anybody else have issues with their white spray paint doing this? I swear, I get a new can, still happens, every time. It took me a couple tries with the spray paints to get it to look exactly how I wanted to, but once the paint is relatively dry, I remove the masking tape and see how it turned out. I think I will go over the edges with some orange paint to cover up those pencil markings, and there's just a little bit of overspray that should be relatively quick to clean up. I'm not going to bother trying to add depth with shadows or highlights. The original pumpkin was minimal and kind of rustic or whatever, so I'll keep that look and hopefully it will draw attention to the carved part more. What do you think? I did this whole thing in a day and could have done it a lot quicker if I didn't try to film it, so a really quick craft that hopefully sparks an idea in your mind to make something cool too. If you could do me a favor though, pick up that like button, smash it in the street. Until next time, make sure to salt your windows and doors, just in case. Oh hey, post-credit scene. I carved this white pumpkin as well without trying to film it, and I think it turned out much better. But which one do you like better? Let me know. Alright, gotta go. Salt your windows and doors!